dynamic experience that we're having. I also wanted to introduce James Wentz, who's here from City Civics. And you just stand up and say a word or a little bit about what you guys offer.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. My name is James. I work with an organization called the Civics Center, with an S at the end, the Civics Center. We, similar to Fran, focus on high school voter registration. This last week, we had this initiative called High School Voter Registration Week, where we helped coordinate peer-to-peer voter registration drives in over 70 schools in 27 different states around the country. So what we have been working on and developing are essentially tools to help, kind of as Fran said, train students to hold their own voter registration drives in their schools. And then what we did for High School Voter Registration Week was for all of the students or faculty members that signed up and had a faculty sponsor, we mailed them a package called Democracy in a Box. And it had, stickers and pens and clipboards and candy. So just everything to get them started to have a voter registration drive. And the remainder, sort of what we're doing going forward is, expanding that program to reach as many students and schools as we can. So I will also be at this table, and I would love to talk to anyone who's interested in getting their students involved in holding a registration drive. So thank you.
Thank you.
So that kind of taps into like the final concept that we were looking at today during that section about what movements, what things are available to us. The Civic Center and then their voter registration drives being one, the Vote at 16 initiative, and the one that we were hoping that people would want to collaborate with us on, which is the Happy Birthday Now Vote. But we don't want to look just specifically, we don't want to throw a bazillion resources out at you and not put it in context of what makes sense for you within your classrooms. So we're going to move into the roundtable section of our time today, and we've given you two of the tools that we already talked about. One was the story of and Tyler O'Higgins, who was the student board, LAUSD student board rep. That's for you to have as a takeaway, that story. And we've also given you the sample toolkit from the Vote at 16, movement, as an idea, almost like a case study of what youth involved in a movement might look like. But most importantly today, being proponents of service learning, we also want to have you be able to figure out how do you use the service learning process to engage in this kind of work. And so what we've also created as a final tool is it's a toolkit that you can adapt. And it takes some of the concepts from the Vote at 16 workshop that I was sharing with you earlier, but it just looks at the structure of it and in terms of the service learning process, and it gives you some additional space, some additional ideas, and also some additional space to record and write down and consider some of your own ideas. So though the Vote at 16 workshop was called Ready to Vote at 16, yours might say something different. There is space for you to fill out your own concepts and get involved with those ideas now, and just so you can walk away with having the space and time to brainstorm what you've collected and now what you might want to put together as you head back to your classrooms. So yours might say ready to combat climate, yours might say ready to know how to vote. That was personal growth for me on what to expect when I head to the polls the next time. And so there's going to be an anchor at each of your roundtables, and we've divided them by grade level. And they will help walk you through kind of analyzing some of the things that we've already presented, and mostly taking time to look at the toolkit that we've given you that goes through the stages of service learning integrated with the democratic process, and to come up with some of your own ideas based on issues that you might be covering within your own classrooms. There will be an opportunity for you to break off into mini groups even if you need to. If you connect with someone at your table who also might be covering a similar issue, then you guys can work through the pack together. And also, there are resources online that are clickable. So we could rattle off a bazillion organizations and titles and lessons here, but I think what might be also more useful is to have something that you can go back to later. There's little asterisks in your toolkit that you can know, okay, that's an online resource that you can utilize at a later time, and we'll leave this there. It's not currently the screenshot that I have now, but there's one live that you can click on for additional resources that we've vetted. And then we want you to just think as you move forward into working on your toolkit, the things that we have already presented so far, and how can you integrate that into what makes sense for you and your curriculum. And so at the end, we'll take a little bit of time to A, get up and network, and B, check out the table at the back where there are actually some free materials for you to take. Some of them are children's books, picture books, and resource books that have been provided from Kathy Berger-Kay's library, and she's ready to gift them. So please feel free to take a look at that. And we'll also take some time to just share out at our tables and maybe with the group about what were you able to adapt? What of these ideas were you able to kind of massage and figure out what is going to work back within your own classroom, so that we know what some of the takeaways are today. So please enjoy your roundtable conversations. So we'll spend about 5 minutes looking through the resources that we've already provided, just as to know that they're there and to just kind of think about to process them. And then we'll spend about 20 minutes looking through the adaptable toolkit that you can actually spend some time adapting with partners or on your own or as a whole group at your table. All right, enjoy. About moving forward with, whether or not they wrote something down on there, or if they just have a nugget of an idea that they want to share out, ready to fill in the blank, making a case for blank in our community. Is there anything that anybody's latched onto, just out of curiosity? Yeah.
Well,
James.
I wish I had seen this a month ago. Because my students are already into like the investigations phase.
Yeah.
But the hardest part of my job is getting the juniors to find something that they're really, really like invested in, either as a social justice issue or as just what they're interested in their own lives personally, like whether or not it's filmmaking or you know, grassroots organizing or gardening or whatever it is. So I'm trying to, so maybe having some of this stuff will help me next year when I start the next batch of juniors.
Great. Anything else that they've latched onto? Another one. I can tell you one from our K through 3 table. The kindergarten teachers at Lawrence are going to move forward with some ideas that Fran shared about voter education. Since we all didn't seem to know some of the new voting procedures happening, they are going to create an informational video about some of the new ways that their parents can vote, and send that out. So there's one from the K through 3 realm. Yes, Lisa.
Along with that, my 5th graders have some input into what they want to do and where they think they, as 5th graders, can make an impact. And I'm definitely going to bring this to them, that according to the League of Women Voters, and something I did not know, you know, there's a whole population of people that don't, and I have a feeling they'll probably go with that you know, as a public service awareness campaign.
Right. So we can also continue to add to our resource list that's online. Youth roles for students engaged in democracy. We'll have that post up, and we'll keep adding to it. So hopefully one day we'll see the kindergarten video up there, whatever the 5th graders are doing. We'd love to hear back from you on some of the outcomes. And we hope that, you know, these resources can be even more adaptable. I don't think there's ever a document that I actually use in its true original form. So I hope that it becomes your own.